Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast, where we explore the diverse set of skills that can be applied across various industries and professions. Each episode will deep dive into the world of transferable skills, discussing topics like communication, problem solving, critical thinking, and more. Join us as we speak with experts in different fields and share stories of individuals who have successfully transferred their skills from one industry to another. Whether you're a recent grad, a mid-career professional, or someone looking to make a career change, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's discover how you can leverage your existing skills to excel in any industry. Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast. This is your host, Dr. Leland, a serial educator, an opportunities designer, and a compassionate leader. Hello, everybody. Do you guys know who my celebrity, I call her my celebrity person guest today? I love her. I think I've only known her for maybe going on 3 months, but I feel like I've known her all my life, right? And we've been in Donald's show with Mike. And so that was kind of good. And sorry, we had to hop off because we had to prepare for this one. And then after this one, we're going to go to Paul and Susanna's, right? Like, that's just how we roll. But today, Syya actually, oh, darn, I left the cat out of the bag. Okay. She supports everybody in our community. And support is a big deal for a lot of people, especially if you're brand new to LinkedIn or, you want to level up, right? Your presence and you're doing self-branding. You have a lot to say, but you just don't know how. But you have a lot of that fire in your belly that you want to just create stuff, right? But you just don't know how. Syya is there to do the technical aspect of how you can actually elevate yourself, level up yourself, and be in the limelight and create your own community and voice out, share your story, because it's through stories that we learn from each other on what to do and what not to do, right? And that's what I said, and Donald, actually, I want to address this because I think it's not an insecurity on my end because people don't know who I am. It's more of like, I get uncomfortable when people always say, why do you have, that's why I take out all the letters out of my name. Why do you have this many degrees? I said, I'm collecting them. Like, seriously. And they're like, what? Doesn't it, like, are you going to owe a lot of money? And I'm like, yeah, I already owe a lot of money for those degrees, but that's not the point. Okay. You have to know my story to know where I'm going with this. But for me, I'm a very structured person and school comes so easy for me. When you give me a problem, like when I coach someone or I mentor someone, to give me a problem, I listen, I take notes, and literally by the end of 5 minutes in that conversation, my brain literally shifts everything and puts it in folder. And I could already see the answer that I want to give you so you can structure yourself. But at the end of the day, everyone that you listen to are people that are trying to help you, right? And it's going to elevate you. You're going to belong in a community. But at the end of the day, it's your choice, whether you want to engage them or you want to level up yourself. Leveling up doesn't mean education. Just because I have a lot of degrees doesn't mean you can't talk to me or, you have to be educated. No, my conversation is leveling up for yourself. Does that mean putting makeup on when you don't want to put makeup on? Does that mean learning how to ride a bike, which I need to level up on riding a bike? Somebody has to help me with that. And now my challenge to my community, please, okay? Other than the penguin in Antarctica, I need to level them up. Everybody in the whole entire continent is listening to my podcast except for Antarctica. 6 continents. And I had a lot of 4 questions on my DM today and said, hey, what do you exactly do? Like, how much do you charge if I'm on your podcast? I was like, no, it's free. However, you can't just ask me to be on my podcast if I don't even know who you are. I literally pick and choose who I'm going to put on my podcast because my job in this podcast is nothing more than to elevate your story, to multiply positivity, and also to gain knowledge on what to do and what not to do, because we learn differently, but we also learn through stories, right? And so that's what I do. There's no charge to be on my podcast, but I do want to get to know you because we want to give value conversations to our audience, right? You go to LinkedIn Live, it's only for what do I have? Like 33,000 people, right? But by I'd say August or on September, I'm working on that right now on the stats. I can pick and choose if I want to elevate you to 63 nations and countries and growing listening to you. There's 193 nations and countries on my list, and I'm at 63. So I'm way still far, but I'm slowly getting there. I don't care about that numbers. I just care that I'm growing slow. And I love my community. But enough talk. I'm going to bring. Are you guys ready? Wait, where's my drum roll? Hold on.
Oh my god. I was gonna do this one.
You're not scary. Give me a break.
Oh, girl, please.
Hello, sister. Oh my God, I have 32 comments. Steven is here. Who else is here? So, Steven, of course, brilliant people. We're going to talk about that. Kristen, my educator sister. What? Yes, yes, we, right? Tag on mobile.
I can't.
Dr.
I was trying
Miriam.
to tag everybody. I was like, it's not working. Sorry, peeps.
I know. I came for a few seconds to say hi. I love your advice. We all have ears from proven ears, right? Seriously, we gotta give love. Susanna.
I love
Who else
everyone
is
here.
here?
Hi, everyone. Hi,
I
Dr. Z.
know.
You're like running around with other patients. Higher priority. We're cool with that.
Right? Gotta level up those people. I don't think I have Dale before. Do you
Oh
guys
my
know
god, you
Dale?
need Dale. He's also known as Mr. Oh my god. I swear to God, Dale, you're making me say this. Flabonga Monthro the Cube. Flabonga Monthro the Cube. That is his persona, his live stream persona on LinkedIn.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Oh, you do.
Interesting.
You will love him because he does IT cloud architecture support for accounting software and accounting clients. So you guys should connect.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to create a class that's a rocking class for accounting for a university. I love creating courses and I need accounting software, so bring it, brother. Oh, wait, before we go anywhere with this conversation because we're going to go crazy. I do want the audience to know. Okay, this is my reason why Syya doesn't even know why I actually brought her here. She's like really confused like on the conversation. She's like, "Wait, we're going to talk about this, right? We're
Like,
going
what are
to
we
talk about
talking
this,
about?
right?"
Like, what are we
Yeah,
talking
right?
about?
Look, she doesn't know. You guys know who knows Syya that she gives to her people, right? She gives and gives, but we really don't know who Syya is. So today, ask away, right? But this is my first question. Sister, think back 20 years, 20 years of your life, even if you want to go, back even more, but 20 years. How did you get here today? How did you become a rock star today?
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, it's so fun whenever we have those interview questions. Like I immediately in my head think of Steve Martin in that movie where he's like, I was born a poor black man. And I just that was funny because 20 years ago I was not born a poor black man either. But anyway, 20 years ago, man, girl, that was a long time ago. I was working at a cybersecurity company called Sonic Wall, and I was just about a year into dating my boyfriend. So as of literally tomorrow, it'll be our 21-year anniversary.
Wow.
So I know. So I'm all about dipping into the company pool. Like when I give 100% apparently. So yeah. No, gosh, man, I was like, starting out my career-ish in a way. IT sales. Prior to that, I was in IT recruitment, and prior to that, I was in hospitality. So I was with the Disney company for almost 7 years, and let me say it was fun. It was good times, probably too much fun because I took a 3-year hiatus from school. So I'm the anti Dr. Constance, and I had some fun, girl. I had some fun at Disneyland days, but I also realized fun needs to have balance. And I was like, what am I going to do with myself in my life? And I didn't see a life of middle management working through the Disney corporate, structure.
Yeah.
And I left, moved to San Francisco, sight unseen. My parents thought I was crazy. Fun fact, actually, I chopped my hair off because that was the 90s, and, my mom thought I was a lesbian, and it was really funny because they were so understanding. They actually treated me like I had come out without coming out, and I'm like, Since when did
What's
I become?"
happening?
I'm like, "Oh, no, it was hilarious." Like, my mom literally was like, "I love you ho no matter what you are, who you are," and I'm like,
Oh my God.
"What are you talking about, mom?" Yeah, it was hilarious. So, yeah, no, that's one of those fun little personal anecdotes of like, you know what? For me, I grew up with a really amazing, loving family, and I think that's kind of like my fuel as to why I give love to others as well. Um, and that, yeah, so that was kind of funny. And gossip, my family gossips, so maybe I picked that up from them too.
We all gossip. I gossip all the time, except I gossip with my dogs and they don't give me anything. I was like, do you not understand what happened to this girl? How about this girl? She's so drama. She's giving me wrong vibes. And my bulldog's like, and then she turns around. She's so bored with me. I was like, oh, fine. I'll talk to the German Shepherd instead. And then she goes like this with her ears. I'm like, man, I'm really going cuckoo today. But I do it with my daughter. I do want to know though. Okay. So I was born in the Philippines. Where were you born?
Florida. I'm an Orlando baby. So, everyone wants to know, I am Disney thick and through and through. Like, I've Disney World in my blood. My oldest sister worked there and she bought me this beautiful Winnie the Pooh. And I regret I've lost it over the years. I'm so bummed out. I love that thing. Its eyes fell out. My mom had to sew it back on. Like, there's a picture of me back in the day somewhere when I was like just born with this big ass Winnie the Pooh, next to me. And the funny thing is, though, I associate more with Tigger than Winnie, but that's another.
Yeah, I was actually like Eeyore, right? Like it's Disney, it's happy, but Eeyore's like always moping. We're like, what is wrong? I think he has depression. He needs a little oomph. Seriously, because he's always like moping around, right? I'm like, what? I have Tinkerbell and I have Piglet for my
Well,
kids because they're fairy. Like my oldest love, and I mean love, when she was little, all kinds of fairies, and that's how I did fairy gardens. And then my
aw.
youngest drinks a gallon of milk a day. When she was a chubby baby, and she would get mad if she doesn't get the perfect pacifier, and then Baba on her other hand walking around. I was like, oh my gosh! But now she only likes matcha tea.
Can I share you a Baba story? So my
Sure.
sister actually logged in here earlier to say hi. I don't think she's listening anymore, but she's about 3.5 years older than me, 4 years older than me. Apparently, she used to literally beat me up to take my bottle from me so she could drink out of the bottle. And there was a time we were sitting behind the couch, and like my other siblings, that were much older, um, could hear it. My mom heard it, where my sister was like, "You're out of chocolate milk, get more." And I'm like sitting there like, I'm what, 2 years old or 1.5 or whatever. And she goes and shoves like this bottle at me. And I walk over to my mom and I'm like, more chocolate milk. And my mom's like, huh, you're drinking a lot of milk, Sia. And I'm like, I'm hungry because my sister stole everything from me. So,
Oh
uh,
my god, that is
so
so
yeah,
funny.
now the irony of that is now I'm bigger than her. So now I can sit on her. So that's much more fun.
See, I
Can
don't
I
have
just tell you
siblings.
one thing? Dale Rodriguez, that is true. There is a conspiracy theory that they named the film Frozen to get around people Googling about Disney's Frozen head. That is a true.
Wait,
That's true.
what? Back up. Now I want to know what frozen head.
So there's a rumor has it that he cryogenically froze himself, Walt Disney, and they froze his head. And so that was like a huge urban myth or whatever. But the rumor has it that they named Frozen to replace that query
Oh,
and all
and
that.
Google. I see. Wow. I'm trying to look for Johanna, I think, or is it Susanna? I think Johanna was talking about what's your favorite album, and I can't find it.
By the way, speaking of of Johanna,
Johanna.
her artwork behind me.
Pick it up. It's not even hanging. Just get up real
It's not.
quick.
It's not. Wait, hold on. Am I wearing pants? I am wearing pants. Okay, we're good.
Oh my gosh. Am I wearing pants? I hope. Oh my gosh. It's so
You
funny.
guys, this is so beyond beautiful. I can't even begin to tell you like how much
So
I love
pretty.
this. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
showing. I know
I
it's
love
too far
it. And I
away.
saw this live when she was actually making it. It's so pretty. It's so calming. Like I could just sit there, have a picnic with my dogs. No barking necessary that I would have to yell. It's just so pretty. I could put myself in there.
So
And
yeah, no, the this was like, she sat me down and, like, literally, like, interviewed me in a way like, "Okay, what is it that you want?" And I said, "You know what? Because I want it as a backdrop for this, for this set, if you will, I wanted it to be a reflection of Brilliant Being Media, which is the name of my company, right? And, I'm all about light. That's my word of the year, and light in a lot of different ways. And as you say, and I talk about this all the time, which is, we have our own internal light within ourselves, right? But sometimes it gets dim when we don't know what we're doing. And I'm a big advocate of collaboration and all ships rising with the tide. And I am also a huge fan of the Care Bear stare. So, when one person's feeling down, if we combine all of our inner lights together, you get a brilliant beam. And I told Johanna, I go, I kind of want you to evoke that vibe, that there's always hope, that there's always another day, that there's always, sorry for the lighting, that there's always
beautiful.
opportunity, right? Like even in the after a storm, there's always beauty and calmness after it. And so what I thought was beautiful that she did, which I didn't even prompt her to, and it's funny because I've been living in Texas for like what 15 odd years now. She painted here and it looks like bluebonnets. And it's so funny because
Oh
that's the Texas state flower, and it just looks so beautiful. I'm
yeah,
like, girl, that looks like
it does.
bluebonnet.
It's so gorgeous. I thought it was a shadow, like the shadowing, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that is so pretty. Okay, Johanna said, who is your sis? She wants to know.
Oh, Tria Hilt, you guys.
Yeah,
And
the one that
Johanna,
we
you're
sent
supposed
emails
to
to.
email her, by the way. That's the other thing too. So I've on my website, I'm going to, and I don't know if people understand, like when I mean all ships rise with the tide, I freaking mean it. And so what I've done is I'm going to open up my website to, our crew and our community. Everyone's got such incredible expertise, skill sets, wisdom, experience that I want to share that with others. So again, I'll highlight individuals' profiles and put you up there, and obviously all of our events and live streams and all that stuff, put it up there. I actually put a calendar of events up there. I haven't fully announced it because I want to get more of the membership profiles up so it doesn't look, small, but that will be going
You gotta
live. And
start
so Johanna,
somewhere.
we need to.
Yeah, I love this, Johanna Renee. By the way, Johanna's my twinsies. Like, I don't have a sister, so I call everybody my sister. So, FYI, our birthday is 7/11. Okay, I'm just saying 7/11.
We're gonna have to do a party then.
I know. Oh, so my Johanna is so sweet. She was like, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to your graduation." I was like, "Wait, it's in May, not in April." And she has me in her calendar. I love you, Johanna. Thank you so much. I'm trying to see if I can live stream my graduation here on LinkedIn. I don't know how that works. I've never graduated online live stream before. It's my fourth degree. I know. I'm going for a fifth one soon. If
That's
the
an
university.
addiction. Yeah. Like my sister who has 6 kids. You can have addictions. Just saying.
Yeah, that is my education is my addiction. My next question though is, since we're talking about content, right? And you created, you moved to Texas for 15 years. Like, how did you say, you know what? I'm done being a W-2 employee. I'm going to be an independent entrepreneur and I'm going to start this. Like, what are the process to even think about, like, I'm going to be a content creator? Like, how did you even go about that?
That's funny you should say that. Okay, so here we go. Ready? So I 20 plus odd years in tech sales, right? It is not rocket science to do sales, but it's not easy either. It's very emotional, right? And for me, because I do care and I don't do things, if I may quote my oldest sister, she used to say, by the way, she learned English in New England. So imagine a Thai accent plus Rhode Island accent. It was horrible. So she used to tell me all the time, don't do things half as. And I, as a kid, and my sister and I would be like, what does she mean half as what? Don't you half as what? Like, and we didn't realize over time she was actually saying don't do things half assed, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, so I'm that kind of person where if I'm going to give something, I want to give it 100%. And towards the end, this is like around 2017 timeframe, I was quote successful managing a global account, and representing the United States for a big, Fortune 100 company. And I had no purpose, I had no passion, had no hobbies, had no sense of self. And every week during forecast calls, girl, I was breaking out into hives. And because I supported a client that was in transition, and just everyone that wants to care about telco. It was in between 4G, 5G ratification, right? So
Mm.
there was no purchasing by any service provider. AT&T was not
Oh,
buying new stuff
you're not
because
gonna
they were
get your
still trying to
quota.
figure out what the standards were going to be.
Yeah.
But yet I had a quota that was expecting continuous, purchasing. So I was stressed. I was forecasting low. I was forecasting low performance. You can only squeeze so much blood out of a turnip. Management didn't seem to care, and I was freaking out. And so, eventually they were, downsizing a lot of accounts, especially in telco, because of that. And I had the opportunity to leave. They're like, "Hey, do you want the package or do you want to find another gig within the company?" And I said, "Deuces, I'm out." Because my health, when you break out into hives and you don't even realize you're breaking out into hives because of stress, that's not healthy for your soul. Not so, it's just not healthy, period. So I left. I took the package. No job in sight, no plans in sight. I literally ended up going crazy, working all the time, never vacationing. I think we took one vacation, two vacations in like 8, 10 years that we were at the company. Um, and I went crazy and booked a ton of trips, 5 different trips, big trips in a year and a half. What
Wow.
happened was I had champagne tastes on 0 income budget, and so, my business partner then at that point, or soon to be, said, "Get off your you know what, as," and, she's like, "You need to, like, start making money again." I'm like, "Damn it." I didn't know what I wanted to do. I said, "Look, I don't know what I wanna do, but I wanna keep my pulse, on technology." And so we launched a podcast called Innovation Calling, and it was all about, the future of technology, future companies, future forward thinking, innovative. And we did really well. So well that we went to look for a dedicated podcast studio to record. And then that launched the podcast studio business. And then fast forward, for various reasons, we parted ways last year and I launched Brilliant Beam in January. So yeah, that's like the summation of like why I left. But I will tell you this story. I learned something about myself that no one many people know, but not really, is in 2018, I lost 7 people in a 6-month time frame, and these aren't just, like, randoms. These were, like, my uncles, my, really good friends, and, I mean, between a really good friend and my uncle was 3 days apart. So I was going to, like, mass like, it was just hard to go to funeral, and I think the last thing that kinda just broke me a little bit was, one of my best friends in high school unfortunately passed away, uh, December 30th. So, it was just, like, one of those rough, like, 2019 wasn't starting off to be a great year for me. And all these people passing away was right around my birthday. So I
Oh,
have this, like, hate relationship with my birthday because it's, like, it's bittersweet, right? To celebrate yourself, but yet at the same time, like,
no
my
one's here
sister
to.
passed, like, 3 days after my birthday. Like, I don't have a lot of, like, warm
Yeah.
fuzzies about my birthday. So, it's been a fuel and fire to live life because you don't have tomorrow guaranteed, right?
No.
So
Yeah. And that's why I think what I people to think, "Oh my god, CJ is just a nerd. She never has a life." You don't understand. I used to party in Hollywood while I was in college, okay? I used to drive 6 hours to San Francisco just to be on a dance party with Hollywood people. I'm just gonna tell you that, okay? I
how come
wasn't
we
Miss
never ran into each
Anything.
other, girl? I
I
don't
know, and
understand this.
I know I wasn't Miss Anything for no reason, okay? I was a butterfly. Like literally, I was walking in San Diego and you would know who CJ was and where CJ was on Monday or Tuesday. Like I was that Miss Butterfly. But when you have a family, you're like, whoop, like you just keep it together because you got priorities straight, right? And so that's why, and I love hearing that story about you and your backstory because not a lot of people really know. And like I thought you were born from like in OC, like Orange County, because you work at Disney, and I was like, wait, where was he? And then Mike, I've noticed he said like, oh, I know Sia is born in Florida. I'm like, I am so confused. I'm gonna talk to Sia. Where is Sia from? Like Carmen San Diego. Where is Carmen San Diego? Oh, where is Sia from?
That was
I love that.
girl, I was Carmen Sandiego when I was traveling, let me tell you. If I can encourage anyone and everyone, yeah, I was going through, like, my eat, pray, love phase, if you wanna call it, even though I've never read the damn book or watched the movie, apparently I was going through an eat, pray, love like, travel world, but I got to see Greece, I got to see Alaska, I got to see Thailand again, in a different way. Don't do it I did it with my, 3 my 2 sisters and their daughters and my mom. That's a long time to spend with 6 women. Don't do it. Just don't do that. But yeah, no, we went to, I the other thing too, I did my boyfriend's genealogy, old school style,
Mm,
not DNA, like old school
yeah.
paper trail style, and we ended up doing, his mom and I, we schemed to do a pilgrimage. So we ended up going to, England and Ireland, and we literally found a headstone from where his mom's from, like, 1695. It
Wow.
Now, it wasn't a direct descent or predecessor, but it was, like, the uncle. Like, so the family line is there. I recognize all the names. I'm like, "These are your great, 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 great 10th
I know.
party back uncles." Like, it's
That is
crazy.
so amazing. I love that. Like I feel like you were Miss Indiana Jones trying to figure out his lineage. I love it.
Oh, I have, like, a weird fascination with genealogy, so that's a fun fact about me is, and that's actually the fuel. If people ever I keep telling everyone, "What's your why? Why are you here? Why are you doing anything that you do?" Creating content, getting on LinkedIn, doing social media, doing your job, whatever it might be. Um, One of my big whys is that after your grandparents, great-grandparents, you just become a birth date and death date. No one remembers your name and who you are. And
Mhm.
so for me, helping people create content like this, helping them we've got the technology. Why wouldn't you wanna record yourself? Why
Right?
wouldn't you wanna record your why wouldn't you wanna record your emotions, who you are, your sense of humor, if you're corny, for people who like really bad dad jokes, like, that's not written in history.
No.
And so
I
that's
apparently
why
don't get mom jokes either. Like my kids like, "Mom, you're so like not fun. You're too old for this." I was like,
"Excuse
"Wow."
me?"
Yeah, she literally told me, she's like, "Mom, you're too old for this. It's not even." Like, I went to Instagram. She's like, "Don't you think that you should just stay on Facebook?" And you know what I told her? I'm like, "Do you know that I was before TikTok was bought out? Like, it was what was that?
Vine.
Uh,
It was
no, it
Vine.
Vine, and then it was something else." And I was like, "Child, I have proof. You see, when you were 5 and I made you dance on that dance floor that you didn't know, your mom was on before TikTok. Okay, I was before Facebook. It was MySpace and Friendster. So don't even go there." Like,
Friendster. I
I know
couldn't
she's
get into any of those things. I mean, uh,
really.
I
I met my husband on MySpace. Wait, did I say that? He's not awake. Yeah, I did. Oh my god.
I you know what? I think it was, I didn't get into Friendster because there's so much of a dating element to Friendster, and I just started dating my boyfriend at that time, so I was kinda in a way,
Oh,
I was kinda feeling like,
nah, you
you know
shouldn't. Yeah.
"Why are you putting an ad of yourself up and
I
out
was
there?" And this is
single, okay? I was seeing and meeting, like, okay, this is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it, I predate the dating sites, like, remember back in the '90s, like, if you said
Yeah.
you were on Match.com or whatever, everyone's like, "What a loser you are,"
Yeah,
"You
right?
can't
You're like,
find
"Oh, when you can't get
anyone."
a date, you have to go online?" Like, yeah. That's what it was. I had a lot of dates, because I work at Geico and there's like 3,000 people in there. It's like meat factory. And I was a manager at a very young age, like 21, I had 100 people already. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was a hot crap, but I didn't know what I was doing. One
Yeah.
thing I love about them is that they don't throw you on the wolves. They literally spend 3 to 6 months making you a very good supervisor. And I learned so much about leadership, especially when I met Warren Buffett. I didn't know who Warren Buffett either until I knew later on. But he was so amazing. Oh my God, the leadership skills that he taught me still today. He always tells, "Hey, are you fighting for your limitations or are you fighting for your opportunities?" Everything you do is only two things: limitations or opportunities. That attitude, turn it down a little bit because that you lose opportunities. I was like, oh, okay. So every day that I have an attitude, I check myself. I'm like, opportunities, opportunities, not limitations today, CJ,
Yeah.
Uncle Warren. Look at Paul. Hey, Paul. Another thing I wanted to ask you too is there's so many, like, for the people who are here are thinking, you know what, I want to go. And Johanna also has live and Paul also has live with Susanna. And you're like, hey, I'm trying to balance which platform should we go. Can we talk about StreamYard and Restream?
Yeah, okay, you wanna talk about that stuff? Okay, the back end
Yeah.
stuff? Um, it's preference. That's purely preference, right? So, if you look at StreamYard and Restream, which I use both, I like both, although I've leaned towards Restream fairly recently, but if they are doing what I think they're doing, I might come back to StreamYard. I don't know, I kinda like the flexibility of both. So apparently I like to waste money and just have membership for both of them. But, look, anyone can use these two platforms that are there's Ecamm as well for those that are Mac users. Screw you, Ecamm. Anyway, so
Hey, I'm a Mac user.
I look, and I'm okay with that, but Ecamm is
Yeah.
purely for Mac. Like, so whenever I get people
Yeah.
saying, "Well, don't I use Ecamm?" I'm like, "Oh, good for you." I don't, because I'm not
No,
an
I use
Apple user.
StreamYard. Yeah.
Because I don't like proprietary technology. Now, that being said, is this the ability for this to be executable? They've got templates. You can move images around. You can have a lot of fun with it. Like, so I highly encourage anyone, if you want to do live stream, go for it, own it, rock it, and make it all yours, because it is. It's like, the world is your oyster for creativity, right? Leave your legacy somehow, somewhere. Choose your audience that you want to focus on, and then work it. Right? If it's YouTube, go for it. If it's LinkedIn, go for it. If it's Facebook, Insta, Twitter, whatever, go for it. So I do encourage folks. I do like Restream in the way that it does allow third-party platforms. So if you want a little bit more flexibility, there's OBS integration, for example. So OBS is another platform that um, you could use for traditional live streamers to move different images around, so you're not stuck with templates. I do
Mhm.
know StreamYard just launched a new platform where you can actually create your own templates, which might make me, lean
Yeah.
back to go back to StreamYard.
Yeah.
So the only limitation with StreamYard that I don't love so much is the fact that on Restream, you can actually post everyone's comments onto your video, like
Yeah.
onto
This one I have to pick and choose. Yeah.
yeah, so you don't have to, like, highlight it, it's actually just scrolling down, right? And I love the fact that, like, Dale, Paul, Madison, Steven,
Yeah.
Johanna, I mean, Susanna, so many different wonderful people are commenting, and it's like a sidebar, but at the same time, they're still part of the conversation. I
I
like that
actually
vibe
like it
better.
like this because I sometimes see that some people comment like, "Look at me and this is my business," and you can't control it. Whereas here, I have full control of what I want to kind of highlight. That's the only thing that I love about StreamYard.
I was gonna say Restream, you can block people and remove it.
Oh,
Yeah, you can
so
block them
Paul has a
and remove
question.
the comment.
Say, in your experience, do you think content or message is more important than hardware or software? I think
Okay,
it's both.
I think it's a mix of both, but I will say
Yeah.
this, Paul, I don't it it's a little chicken and egg to say this, but I will say this much. You can, and Paul is so wise with his words. I mean, you're like a little Yoda, like what's that Yoda show, that the little Yoda?
Oh yeah.
Paul's like the
Star
little cute
Wars. Yeah.
Yoda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it even if your message is amazing, if you've got crappy audio, people can't hear you,
No.
right? But on the flip side, you could have a beautiful piece of equipment and have nothing to say,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's like a kind of a mix between the two, but I do encourage people, if you're going to be streaming like this, invest into a decent microphone. It doesn't have to break the bank. Like, this microphone I'm using is old now, and it's probably like $50, $20 used. It's an Audio Technica. No, they don't pay me, but it's survived like 5 years, you guys, and I think it sounds fine. And so you don't have to go hardcore
Mhm.
crazy. So that's my advice. Or
I have
lavalier. You can always get a little lavalier, like $25.
yeah, I got Grogu. I actually see I always in this mode like go big or go home. So I have like two of these mics. I don't even know. I think this is from Rode. Wait, what is this called? H&A AC50 Dynamic. This actually is really good.
Oh, that's yeah.
The first 10 podcasts I did was this. And then I researched more on like audio and things like that because some of my audio is also like kind of weird. But it seems like my audio is perfect, but my audience audio is not perfect. So this is what I'm going to say about that. Okay. I'm going to say that when you guys have, or you're invited to a podcast, right? And you're so excited, at least have some type of what is that called for the Apple users, like your little mic, like you said. It's because when I have to edit on Audacity, I'm cheap. I get if I can get it cheaper or free but with good quality, I will do it. Now I edit Audacity with your audio, and what I notice is that the people who don't have a mic, their voice is so low, and I was like, dude, I can't. And I try to make it
Add some gain.
Yeah,
Yep.
and do the
Do
effects.
some.
But the problem is there's too much noise when you have to be gaining higher. So, yes, if you want to be a guest on anyone's show or you create your own show, have a really good mic and have your audience. And if you're on my show, I usually send you an etiquette for for my expectations so that your audio is perfect. Because guys, I run my own show. I don't have a Syya. I run everything. I edit everything. I do my social media marketing. And I have a full-time job. Okay.
I don't know
So
how you do it. It's
yes,
honestly, well, I mean, look, if you have the capability, which you are, you are superwoman. Like seriously, you can multitask like a mofo. I know what we're doing is not. I mean, what we're doing is not rocket science.
no,
It's tedious. That's what it is. It's tedious and it's time consuming. And
it is.
so, what I and Brilliant Bee Media really offers is convenience. We offload. If this is not your, wheelhouse, then offload it, right? Because if you think about it, for people that spend, and by the way, average factoid, you guys, for audio-based podcasts only, not video, it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 hours to edit, just depending on the quality of the audio. If
Mhm.
you can only put so much lipstick on a pig, people. Now,
Yeah.
on videos, uh, editing can take anywhere 4 to 6 hours, depending on how elaborate, or more, depending on how elaborate you want it to be. I like live stream because it's up and out there, done quick and dirty, foibles and all, just throw it up there. So there's like light editing. I probably
Mhm.
would edit the audio just to boost it a little bit better. But I wouldn't typically touch video unless there's something catastrophic that you're like, cut it out or whatever, right?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, no, I mean, the idea of my business and the reason why I exist is it's a convenience. If you find yourself, and I tell it to my clients, and I do focus on businesses versus solopreneurs, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you why in a second. But if you find as a marketing department and you're spending 4 to 6 hours, and let's say you're $100 an hour, that's $600 to produce. Is it worth your time? Is it worth your company's time to do that? Or could you offload it so you could focus on something that's gonna actually, the other tasks that need to get done, right? So that's kind of like something that I encourage people to really think about the math, around that. Now, why don't I work with a lot of solopreneurs? Largely because they can't afford it, right? Or it's something where if I can coach and guide them to do it themselves, do it yourself until it gets to be painful. And then you can make those investments and see if it's worth it for you. I do get worried for those that are just like, I'm throwing money here and thousands there. And it's like, I cringe when I talk to so many clients that are like, yeah, I just spent like one individual. He said he spent like almost $100,000 in marketing assistance over the last 5 years. And I just said,
What?
look, I'm sorry we just met, but let's just talk. Let's just stop. Like, stop what you're doing. Let's see what you're doing. See what makes sense. Because now he's jaded. He thinks all marketing people are evil people, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's something that we just got to help work through for individuals.
I wanna video editing is such a hassle for me. Okay, this is why I love about LinkedIn Live. I am not editing. So whatever you do here, it goes to my YouTube. People already see it. Why am I editing it? No, I'm not. I don't have time for that for reals. Like I have a lot on my to-do list, okay? But with my audio, okay, that has literally millions of listeners. I am going to edit. And sometimes the person I really like, I try to put it in some of their audio that I know for sure it's like kind of crappy, but I'm like, oh, but I don't want to cut them because they're really good. The value of the conversation is really good. So I push it through, but I'm like, seriously, people, make sure that when you're in this audio, because I don't have like two people listening, I have millions of people listening in there. So it's like, I need your audio to be really good so I can extrapolate this LinkedIn Live right here to that, because then when you're at that, literally the world is listening. The
Hmm.
world is listening, right? So another question is, when you decide as a solopreneur versus, being like a company, like small, medium-sized company, how would they say, hey, Sia, what is social media marketing and how do you create content? Like, where is there tools that you use? Don't even think about Chat GPT because they're not accurate. But is there tools that you use that you're like, this actually helps, especially for those who are in our friends, um, purview, but they can't afford our services. Like, what would you say? Like, hey, these are the things that I use. Try it.
So yeah, no, so there's a lot of back end tools. It really depends on your preferences, right? So for me, I like Audacity. I think it's fine. I've learned all the Adobe products like Premiere, um, you know, Audition and all that stuff. I'm not a fan of Adobe personally because it's for the needs of this. of content creation for social media purposes, some of those tools are just hella elaborate, right? And
Mhm.
that's when you start pricing yourself out, because you're what people I think need to understand is podcasts and the idea of live stream, they exist for a reason. It's a lower bar of entry, and the assumption being is probably lower production values. Not to
Mhm.
imply we're not professionals, but this is not Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think the challenge that we've had is the pandemic has really ushered in this assumption that podcasts are also video casts, if you will, right? I have a YouTube channel and I'll just call it a podcast. It's not quite the same.
It's
The distribution
streaming.
are different. So technically speaking, this is not a podcast until you take the audio out and then you upload it into a hosting platform. And then you find it in the Spotify's of the world, right?
Yeah,
That is a podcast. This is a live stream.
that's right.
So, the tools that we use, like it could be I use um oh my gosh, this is when the night before is kicking in, girl.
Too much sippy sippy.
I had yeah, so I use Camtasia. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
love using
Camtasia.
Camtasia as
Yeah.
an editing platform. I learned off that. It's what I'm comfortable with, and I can just like go to town on it, right? There are times when I'll need to use, Adobe Premiere and all that stuff too. Again, it just depends. Um, I prefer Camtasia. I just because I know it so well. I
Yeah.
know folks that are trying to do editing on Canva, for example. I see Susanna making a comment about that. To me, it's not as friendly to edit, so I don't use Canva in that purpose. I do use Canva to create graphics. I love Canva. I
Oh
love
my
it for
god,
the
6
for the
hours?
needs of what is needed. Canva is more than enough for social media.
Mhm.
Again, unless you want to do some massive editing and all that stuff, then you could use other platforms. So I just suggest go with what works for you. Go
Mhm.
with what is going to be comfortable for the way your brain works too, right? Because I mean, I know I have a special brain and it works in a very different, unique way. So find that platform that works, you guys. Do Google research. Okay. Google is your best friend in that context. Of course, they're tracking all that. And that's a security issue, but that's a different conversation for another day. But you guys research. There's power in research. There's so many videos online you can self-train.
YouTube University, that's what I call it, because that's how I learned how to do audio video, okay? I didn't know anything about audio, but see, when I research, I dig deep. And if I can't afford my equipment, I'm like, honey, can I have this equipment on my budget? My husband gives me extra money for my budget on whatever I want. And so, like this one, okay, I wanted something like for me, for my company, Level Up Academy. So what did I do? I research and create my own swag. So I create my own swag now. I don't need anybody. And this is actually ink. You
Love it.
can't, yeah, it's dishwasher safe, and I can do whatever design that I want, from t-shirts. I'm actually going to be selling t-shirts to you guys soon, because I want to earn extra income for the youth program that I want to provide for Michelle Presley.
Ooh. Okay, let me think about, because just full
What is
disclosure a
this?
little bit about me, you guys. This is not clutter for the sake of clutter. This is literally me supporting everybody. So this is Talcy. For those that don't know,
Oh, I
like
love
it is
tossing.
literally a pillowcase that you could put a pillow in here. I don't have a pillowcase in here, but or pillow in there, but like it's a removable pillow. You can use as a neck, lumbar support, everything. So that's a shout out to Talcy Brands. Check it out, you guys. But everything you see here, you guys, is in support of someone
Oh, I see
somewhere.
Stephanie's book.
And
Oh,
that is
wait.
Stephanie Alfonso's book.
Yes.
Supporting right now, and everyone below, like guys, I will rotate it out and around and stuff. Right now, it's Stephanie's getting the highlight, but
Yeah.
also a little bit of me with my music. So you got the guitar there, and you got a little mandolin
Excuse
in the
me.
back
I
there.
need to hear music, like singing, rocking, like hello. Come on.
I
Give me
always have
one.
a song in my head, always, always.
Okay,
There's
what
like not
song?
like
Bring it.
yeah, and
Come
and and
on. Send
and
me a t-shirt, CJ. Oh
oh
yeah, I
girl,
will. I actually will actually put it on LinkedIn, guys, and you can vote which one I'm going to be creating and you guys would like, because I want to support the homeless youth program that I promised Michelle. And then my courses is going to be up soon. I think I'm going to have membership instead, like free members, to support my community further, because I love teaching. And you see some of my students. I was reflecting the other day how many students I've had, and I'm old school. I'm gonna show you something. I don't know if you can see. I write my students. Like I have tons of these, right? Throughout the years, like literally, because I do attendance, I do like who's actually engaging in the classroom. Like I
Oh my
write that.
God, girl. I'm
I
so glad I'm not your
know.
student.
And see, look, that my flags, like, oh, this is for this class. Because I have about 300 to 600 students at a time, sometimes 5 weeks, sometimes 10 weeks. And I reflected the other day, and I have 10,000, over 10,000 students that I've taught already.
Hmm.
And I love it. And probably more because
Pretty-
sometimes 600 every 10 weeks, usually. So when I'm looking at that, I love course curriculum. So I've learned how to make sure that you have transferable skills to create yourself to level up, whatever that means, right? To you. And I love supporting my community. And I love that you're supported all those authors right there that you have in your shelf. And I love Tossie brands. I use it because I snore. Okay. I gained 20 pounds. Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
girl,
You know,
you
and I was
needed to gain weight. You were hella skinny a little bit. I was just gonna say, I'm like, you needed a sandwich, girl.
no, I eat a lot. That's the thing. But I started to work out, and when you're closing, like we talked about age, but when you're
Hmm.
closing to 50, okay, my knee's starting to hurt. Okay, and I was like, oh. So then I went back to the gym. So I've been like doing some stuff in the gym and my cardio and my leg press, and I started like 45. I can do 100 leg press now, so I'm good. Like it's been only 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, this little Asian whatever this is, when you're growing. And I was like, oh, I gotta get rid of those. And I'm too scared to, like, what do you call this, cut them up. And I'm too scared of cutting this up. Like I'm too scared of injections. I will faint.
It's, to each his own. Like, I don't judge if it's something where you feel good for yourself to do things. But just I just don't care. I don't mind aging. I like the aging process. I love the fact that, warts and all. It's because to me, it's life experience, right? I want
True.
if I get, laugh lines and all that, that makes me happy to know that I've lived a life where I laughed, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean, I just love the fact that, the community that we have here is so supportive in so many
I
different
love
ways.
them.
And like, a lot of these are all like acquisitions and purchases. This is not just us freebieing each other back and forth.
No, we
Like,
buy
and,
them.
and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I really, really appreciate is the fact that, we do business with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like talent, going back to a little bit of conversation of Mike and Don's conversation earlier. But the truth of the matter is like our community and what you do, you inspire all of us to do level up. Like it's almost like just even saying level up is almost like a trigger to be like, oh, am I being my best person today? Right?
Mhm.
Am I doing what I best can to shine my light brightest to help that next individual that might be
Yep.
struggling somewhere that I may not be aware of? Right? Because we're always in our own heads. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, so, again, I know you're trying to get to know the Syya, but the truth of the matter is like, I'm giving because I really want to make sure that if you're successful, I know I'm successful, and that makes me happy. Like,
Yeah.
that's my fuel too, right? Like, when I see people struggling a little bit, okay, I get it. I'm not the most nurturing
Yeah.
individual.
You're like, get your ass up right now. Like,
Who
yeah.
was it me? I think I shared my own meme that all of you guys were like, "Yep, that's pretty you. That's pretty much you." Which was
Yeah.
like, do you remember that picture of like a
Yeah.
bird standing in a tree, and
Yeah.
then one of the birds is like falling down, and there's like another bird looking down
Just
at that bird that's
just
falling,
push
and it's
it
like,
down. Yeah. Just
"Fly,
fly.
bitch."
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I am definitely nurturing. I'm like a mother, but I also have my limits. And that's what I was telling you about. Like I'm to the point where I know myself, I get out of control when I'm mad. So when I feel that my ears actually like starting to go red and my face like my eyes would flicker when I'm mad, I'm like, take a deep breath, walk away, CJ, walk away before you make a fool out of yourself. Walk away now. It happens sometimes in a meeting, and I literally will I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, something's wrong with my camera. I'll be right back. Like, because I'm getting so heated. I want to punch somebody. I was like, CJ, no. And I'm 5 feet tall. Like, I can't. What can I do? You know what I mean? Like,
oh
but
girl,
I'm like,
hey,
whatever.
we may be short. I'm
Yeah,
five
that's
two.
true.
We may be short, but we're extraordinarily efficient with our movements. And by
Oh
the way,
yeah,
Gail, I
I
see
can
you with
knock
your
you
elite cock
down.
there.
Level up such an L337. Wait, what is
Elite.
L337?
He's trying to
Great.
be nerdy nerd.
Oh, okay. So 14344, you get that one. Is that what it was? Is it this? This is the pager face. I had pager. we talk in
Pagers.
code. Oh my god, yes. In high school, I was really cool. Like I had a BMW and I had a pager. Like I thought I was the
You grew
person,
up
but I
affluent then,
wasn't.
huh?
Huh?
You grew up affluent then, huh?
I don't
Yeah, you
know.
did. You can't be
But
driving a BMW as a teenager, okay, without having mommy, daddy, set you up for a lot of success in life.
yeah, listen, I had 3 BMWs. I crashed the first one. The second one, I was parked and someone hit me, and that got totaled. The third one was my last draw. So I was driving. I don't cause accidents. People just try to hit me. Like, I don't understand what's happening here. And so my dad's like, you're going to a Mitsubishi on your fourth car. No more BMW. I'm like, fine. So I went to Mitsubishi. When I met my husband, I was in Mitsubishi. And still I got hit while parking. And I'm like, dude, I do not park bad. Why are you hitting me all the time? Steven says,
It's
I'm
because you're
5'8".
so attractive, beautiful.
Right, right. It's
But
it's like CJ, just hit her. Why not? Yeah, and I graduated high school early, so I thought my dad would let me go. I had a full scholarship to Yale, and he's not educated. He doesn't have a bachelor's degree or anything, and he's like, Yale, that's way too far. You don't need school that far. You just stay here, 10-mile radius. So I didn't go to Yale because of that. My parents were very controlling, right? It's just not it is. Steven said, wait, what? I agree with sentiment about being efficient with movements. We're like ants. We literally do that. Another last question that I want to talk to you, because we only have 10 minutes left and we got to go to Susanna's and Paul, is if they were to talk to you, right, and said, hey, I probably can't afford your services right now, Syya, but I do want to outsource being, creating my own podcast or live streaming, like, where do I start?
when you say where do I start, what do you like specifically? Are you
Like, where do
going
I
after?
start? What do I do? Do I go, get Canva? Do I go to, StreamYard? Like, how do I even do content creation? And how do I pick between StreamYard and Restream? Like, as a beginner, what would your ideal beginner tools are?
Yeah. Okay. So it would be okay. Number one, use your phone. For those that are just starting out, just getting the vibe. Your phone camera is just as good as a lot of these other cameras out there, right? Like cleaner, sharper. They're just improving every year. Get in the habit of just videoing yourself, right? It could be over Zoom, right? Just full disclosure, Zoom doesn't have good video quality, right? If you want to live stream, there are platforms like I say, StreamYard, Restream, leverage those, and just hit record, right? It is not that difficult. The difficulty is in consistency. The difficulty is in presence. The difficulty is, are you improving with each stream that you do? So that's where all the work is, and the content, right? Obviously, and all that. But start with the basics. Don't have to spend $10,000 because the odds are high. Most podcasters will fade out. They call it pod fade after 7 episodes, right? So try this, see if you like it, do it consistently, and then make the investments as you start to feel what you like and know and what is comfortable for you, right? Not everyone needs to have a soundboard. I
No.
like it because I just like to make,
I know. Roadcaster.
buttons for
Ooh.
fun,
Wait, what's
right?
mine? I don't think. Hey, I have that.
Yeah, you do on the purple. I know, I have to like change it up. I love it.
Right?
Diddly-loo, diddly-loo.
Oh, that reminds me of Susanna Dawn and her birds post. This one.
Susanna just left, so they're getting ready for their show. So
Yeah.
I know we've got to wrap up ours shortly.
You do have
But
that. I gotta use that one next time.
don't. Just full disclosure with Dale, I did show my first live stream. It was on Facebook, not on LinkedIn, and I had no idea what I was doing, and it was hilarious. I had this microphone, but I didn't use it. I ended up using the lavalier instead, and it was just on my cell phone. It was just hilarious what I was doing. It was just a mess, but it was fun, and I loved my progression. So you guys try it. Just do it. You're not gonna be
I get it.
no one's gonna be beautiful. I'm sorry, you just won't. You're gonna sound probably bad. You're probably gonna look bad, but if you progress, it's okay, and you'll get better and you'll get more comfortable. That is my advice. All those other platforms and whatnot, go basic. By the way, Restream and StreamYard, you can do it for free.
Yeah, Johanna just said that too. Restream has a free plan if you want to try it. Yeah, I haven't tried Restream because I'm so used to StreamYard, and that's my hang up right now. But I like to control the comments rather than the people, seeing it, which I love too, because it's visible that you see people are in your show and they're talking and they're, engaging. So that's one thing that I love about that too. But I just prefer StreamYard because I'm used to StreamYard, but that's my hang up. That's not really anyone else's.
Yeah, the learning curve to go from StreamYard to, because StreamYard was my first. It was my
Okay.
first.
Ooh.
But the learning curve to go back and forth is fairly once you understand the concepts, they're pretty much similar. They have their subtle nuances, obviously, but it's very similar. So, like I said, it just depends on what you like and what your preference is to integrate the convo or not. The fact that you can rebroadcast, like I could rebroadcast this.
Yeah.
That's a fairly new thing for them. The fact that, like I said, StreamYard now has the ability to move templates around. You can create your own templates. That's very new. I want
Yeah,
to
it
test that
is.
out.
See? Like literally I'm creating, while we go.
Yep.
Um
Yep.
there's nothing in there, but I've literally, kind of re-put my templates. And this is new. This is like 2 weeks ago where I was able to do it. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have that. As far as content, someone asked me today, like, how do you find, your content? I actually most of your content, quite honestly, is coming from your experiences today. I see content that are super drama and like negative. I'm like, ooh, I'm staying away from that content. I want to be a positive thing. I'm already having my own drama here. I don't need extra, right? And so yeah, the content really comes from my conversations with my students. I'm a professor, so every day I have 6 hours of live lecture, 6 hours every day, Monday to Thursday. That's what I do. Okay. On top
Wow.
of my podcast, my kids, I have to go pick them up too. And my dogs, my husband, right? And yeah. So I literally find content based on my conversation with them. But for those of you who are not doing that, go to I think positivepsychology.com and also just subscribe. And sometimes they send you an email that sometimes just kind of invokes emotion in you. And that's how I always tell my friends, and that's how they find content is sometimes a quote would just get that going.
Trigger.
And
Hmm.
then, yeah. But also keep in mind that don't just post for the sake of posting.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't do that.
No, because people watch you. People watch if they actually, and you attract people you want to be attracted to, right? And so if you just get like, if you're a content writer or a ghost writer, watch those spelling because people are watching those things and watch your content that it makes sense. Like if you're describing a ball and a beach ball, but you're trying to like be philosophical about it, but then at the end of the message, no one understood what you're saying. No one's gonna hire you as a content creator. So keep that in mind when you have that. Like just sit on it for a minute, review it, maybe even have your friend or whatever, like, hey, can you read this and see? And if you have that friend, and just ask them, like, is this going to be working out for you? What is your last message in terms of content creation?
Yeah, 100% be authentic to who you are. All right. Understand why you're doing this. Okay. Social media, ironically enough, can make you feel very isolated and jaded very quickly trying to be social. Right. Um, know what platform you want to emphasize your personal brand if that's something that you're developing, especially for your students. I strongly encourage you start making LinkedIn part of
Yep.
um your daily routine. If you can like scroll through your Insta or Snapchat or whatever, spend another 10 minutes on LinkedIn and cultivate your own network. I cannot tell you how much you'll realize the value of your network 20 plus 30 plus years down the road. So I've got friends that are in executive leadership roles that if I ever need them, I can lean in on them, right? They can, your friends and peers, colleagues can become mentors, mentees back and forth throughout your career. That value is immeasurable. So for LinkedIn audience, and this is where we mostly spend our time, I see a lot of people trying to post on LinkedIn to be like a social media where they're doing nothing but feel good posts. And feel good posts feel good, okay? And they're popular like that for a reason. But what is the actual intrinsic value that you're actually receive from it, right? Other than seeing, doggies wagging their tail and you want to love them and all that stuff, right? If that's something that you think is part of your branding, then go for it. If it's not, don't feel the pressure to do it. And
Yeah.
if I could give that like tidbit of be authentic to who you are, your content will be coming out as a result of your emotions, as you say, that
Yep.
inspires you.
Yep.
And that is what you want people to remember you by. It's that Maya Angelou quote, right? They may not remember what you say, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Yep.
And so get that content up and out there that resonates who you are, because if you're doing it for job hunting purposes, if you're doing this to grow your brand visibility because you're an entrepreneur or you're intrapreneur, that you're trying to build your own brand within an
Within the organization.
organization,
Yep.
do that. But understand what it's for. So that's what I'm going to leave it with.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. We get to know a little bit of Syya. I got to know a little bit of Syya and our content creation. So we will go and head to Susanna and Paul's podcast now. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm live again at 9 a.m.
Woo-hoo,
Bye,
see ya.
everybody. Oh, Sister Samantha, I said hello. She probably fell asleep. For sure. It's like 1 o'clock in the Philippines.
Ooh.
Bye, guys.